Another episode of Sports Talk with Playeragent3. Today's guest, former Wake Forest University basketball star, former ACC star, Mr. Travis Mckie. What's going on, my guy?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good, man. I'm glad you was able to join me.
I'm happy you have me here.
Now, a lot of people know you from the University of Wake Forest basketball, of course, playing in the ACC. But I want to start this discussion off by talking about your home state of Virginia. Virginia, they don't get a lot of credit in terms of basketball players, or a state that produces very good basketball players. Why? I mean, can you talk about that and why you feel like you guys don't get a whole lot of respect?
I mean, I feel like we get a lot of respect, just based off, like you got the Iverson jersey sitting right here.
Right.
Bubba Chuck, Alonzo Mourning, J.J. Redick.
Right.
I mean, I can name off a list of guys that come from Virginia that's, prospering in the league.
Right.
Just based off Boo Williams alone.
Right.
The pipeline that he built, with, his relationship with Nike and all the players that he came through. And I played with Boo Williams myself. I think we get a lot of credit. It's not national.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I think D.C. takes the national credit, and I think, North Carolina with John and, all the, I think we don't have a lot of superstars, like current superstars, but
yeah,
our back channel, we produced a lot of players that produced at a high level of college and the league.
Right. But when you talk about, see, a lot of people don't know about the Moses Malones, the Johnny Newmans, Alonzo Mourning. It's a lot of basketball players that come from VA that to me, the state doesn't get a lot of recognition. Have people said anything to you about it, or have you been offended by the state not getting the credit that it deserves? Because Virginia's produced a lot of good basketball players.
Yeah, I mean, we have our conversations, talking to other players from other cities. They'll try to downplay Virginia, like, y'all don't got any players. And then we go through it.
Right.
We're like, oh, I didn't know that. It's just it's just hidden knowledge, kind of, sort of. But yeah, we got a whole lot. I don't get offended at all, because if you come there, like most of the good players. Well, AAU ranks when we were younger, we either play Boo Williams, or we go to what's the team now? Team Loaded, and you got what's the Nike EYBL in Maryland? I forget the name of it. But we have different channels. I mean, we produce players at a high level. I just think now we don't have any current superstars that like carry the conversation.
Right.
We have a whole lot of players overseas in the league.
Yeah.
We just don't have that one guy. Like when we had Iverson, that was the guy.
Right.
He carried the state. But Iverson out of the league for so many years. We got a whole lot of role players that
Yeah, and then you talk about not just basketball players, but you talk about athletes in general, like Mike Vick, Aaron Brooks, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Virginia has produced a lot of great athletes, in my opinion, that go unnoticed. Now let's talk about high school basketball in Virginia for yourself. Where did you fit in when you were coming up as a player?
Fit in
in terms of like the top ranked players that played in that come from Virginia. Where were you in that line?
I feel like when I was in school, finished my high school career with 2,000 points. I never won a state title. We lost in the semifinals 2 years in a row. But I feel like I'm at least top 10 in VA high school history. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the body of work, how can that not be? I mean, I know I'm top 3 in Richmond ever.
In Richmond,
ever.
Okay.
VA, I gotta be at least top 10 to 15, easily, just off the body of work. Because from my sophomore year to my senior year, I averaged at least 25. If I didn't have 20, it was a terrible game. So, but you gotta let people decide that. The body of work speaks for itself, the numbers speaks for itself. But yeah, I for sure I'm at least top 10 to 15.
Okay. Now, when you talk about your high school career, when did Wake Forest University come into play, and what type of schools were recruited you when you were in high school?
Pretty much the whole entire ACC for the most part.
Okay.
My recruiting, kicked up a notch, my sophomore year, and everybody would come to the open gyms, the games. UNC would come a lot, Virginia. I mean, just pretty much the entire ACC. VCU was a big part. They right down the street.
Exactly.
But Wake just took an interest in me, and at the time, Wake was the one in the country. They had Jeff Teague, Farouk, Ish Smith. They had a whole bunch of guys that they were just a good team. And then when I went down there, I felt like they wanted me the most. They made me a priority. And then plus, that they're number one in the country, and then they're a great academic school as well. So it just seemed like a perfect fit at the time. And then, when I decided to make that decision, it just felt like the right place for me to go.
Okay. So what was it like? What was that 4-year experience like playing? Number one, playing in the ACC and playing for Wake. I mean, you had to go up against the Dukes, the Carolinas, the NC States. How was that for you?
I mean, for me, it was tough because you're coming into a situation where you're expecting to win. When like I said, I committed when we're number one in the country, so we're like the top program. And then the summer before I go, you fire the coach Dino Gaudio, and bring in a new guy, Jeff Bisdelic, that a lot of people didn't know much about.
Right.
And he came to my house and he talked to me. He preached me all the NBA talk. And I'm like, okay, I'm already committed to the school a year and a half, so it'd be tough for me to take my commitment away and then try to find somebody else and just fit in somewhere instead of just sticking where I was. And then my 4 years was basically a rebuilding project, But playing in the ACC is great. It's the best conference in the world, best college conference in the USA. I would say that. It's not even close.
Yeah. Did you consider any other conferences when you were in high school?
Kind of, sort of. When Anthony Grant was a coach at VCU, and that was my guy.
Yeah.
And he had went to Alabama, so I considered it, but Alabama was just too far for me, and it wasn't a basketball school. It just didn't seem like a good fit. But that was probably the only one that I probably considered outside of the ACC, because I grew up in ACC County. How can I not go to the ACC?
Right.
It just wouldn't even feel right if I went anywhere else.
Okay. If you could pick, if you had to start a team with 5 players from Wake, in the history, who would you take?
Point guard. I mean, you'd be crazy to not pick CP. CP is, he is who he is.
Right.
You gotta take CP at the 2. I take my man CJ Harris. He was my teammate. We was leading the ACC in scoring one year, and I think he's playing overseas. He just got back from France.
Yeah.
He was at the wedding yesterday I was at, so that's my guy. I gotta take him as shooting guard. Small forward. I mean, you gotta go me.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta go me. I'm biased.
Okay.
So with the 4, I will go with Farouk Amino. Plays for Portland. That's my OG right there. And then center, you gotta go Tim Duncan.
Okay. I was waiting for that name. I didn't know if you was going.
I mean, I'm going, the small ball lineup.
Yeah.
But you gotta go Tim Duncan. The fundamental himself. Man, a few words. When he says something, he means it. So that's my 5 right there.
Okay. Now, did you get a chance to ever interact with any of those guys? Probably the guys that came before you. Did they ever come back and talk to you guys and try to give you guys some free game?
CP comes around when he's available. But I don't have much of a relationship with him, but a lot of people do. But yeah, I mean, I remember when Tim came one homecoming, and it was crazy. He came to an open gym, and this is 2012, so he's at the end of his career. He gave us 40.
Oh wow!
It wasn't even. We couldn't do nothing with him. And I swear, the whole weekend we was with him the entire weekend. He probably said 10 words.
Okay.
If he doesn't know you, he's not going to talk to you. But yeah, I mean, most of the guys that we come back, they talk to us. And we're in the information era, with phones and stuff. So a lot of us have we have a group text and everything, and we keep in contact with a lot of guys. I wish it was better. We need to do better as a Wake alum, as a whole, to go back and talk to the young guys. So like right now, my young boy Brandon Childress plays for Wake.
Right.
And we talk all the time, you know, just trying to get him through the season, through the highs and the lows and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we can do so much more, you know, because we're comparing ourselves to our counterparts in the state. You know,
right.
NC State, Duke, Carolina, all those guys go back and they pretty much live
exactly
in their area, and we don't do that.
Right.
And we need to do better.
Do you think that has anything to do with Wake's situation right now in regards to basketball? Because the program has been down for so long. Yeah. What do you think it's gonna take, you know, for players to want to go there? Or top players.
Winning is the main cure for everything.
Right.
When we haven't been consistent with winning almost a decade. You know, but the fans are loyal. You know, they still come to the game. They cheer us on. But I think me personally, I think we need to take a more social media presence. Like, because I know with kids now, that's what all they see. And if I'm comparing myself to, you know, our brothers in the state, like Duke's social media is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's top notch. You can't hate on it. Like, it's one of one. They record everything. They put it out at such a high quality level. UNC is UNC. They're gonna do them. NC State is a brand that, you know, the Wolfpack. You know, God, I hate that sound. They're efficient. And Wake, we're lackluster on the internet. Like, we'll just put out little stuff here and there, but I feel like we could be so much better at that.
It's almost like Wake is the forgotten ACC school.
Exactly. You forget it's there.
Right.
You got to think about it, because all the, you know, Duke, Carolina, NC State, they're all connected in the triangle.
Right.
But we're an hour down in Winston.
Yeah.
You know, so...
And it's a smaller school.
It's a smaller school. It's only like 4,000 or 5,000 that go there.
Yeah.
But, you know, everybody knows everybody. You know, you go to a class, it's probably 20 to 25 people. You're going to know who's in the class. You're going to know who's not in the class. It's just a small community. But that's what makes it so great. We're like a small fraternity. You know, even when we leave school, you know, somebody that knows go to Wake, they know what it's like. You can go to one of these other schools and it's 300 people in the class. You're not going to know everybody in there. But when you go to Wake, it's a smaller campus. You're going to know everybody. You're going to know all the workers. You're going to know all the people that work there. I just think for basketball, winning, yes, of course, it's going to help.
Cures everything.
Yeah, but I think we need to take a big step with promoting it. It's like we're just we treat ourselves like an Ivy League, and a lot of Wake people treat it like an Ivy League, but we don't. It's just something missing. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I think for me, as an alum, I think the social media would go a long way to showing people how great Wake is. I think we're lacking in that area.
Danny Manning has a chance.
Chance to do what? Danny is great, man. I mean, I've had nothing but, you know, positive, you know, conversations, and every time I come back, he shows me extreme love. But, you know, he just got a contract extension. We just got a new AD, and Danny has to win. Like, if you
That's
compare,
the bottom line, right?
I mean, it's funny. I was having this conversation with a guy, and if you compare, you know, Jeff Bezdelik's record, his 4 years there, to Danny's, he has a better record than Danny, and that's bad. Like, Danny, I don't know what it is. It just, I don't know if it's recruiting or it just hasn't connected. And last year was rough. I mean, it was terrible. We had the young boy Jalen Horde come in. He was supposed to be a lottery pick, and I mean, it just went bad. We just had a bad year. I don't know what it is with Wake, man. We just can't get it right. We just have to find that.
It seems like it's been a curse, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
For the whole decade. Like I said, I just think when we pop, we're gonna pop.
Yeah.
I know Danny had that one good year when we went to the tournament. We went to the first four, and he had John Collins. Now, John Collins, I didn't see that coming. I was watching it. Like, it'll be the first half, he'll have like 6 points, and then at the end of the game, he'll have like 26 and 13. I'm like, how did that happen? Like, the kid, he produced that one year. He should have been ACC Player of the Year, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I just think we need to be consistent. You know, like, Duke and Carolina, they have Coach Roy and Coach K. So all the players come back because they have a connection with that coach. It's easier when you know the staff, when you know the people that's there, when it's like when it's in motion. But with us, you know, I committed to Gaudio. He got fired. Then Buzz was there for my whole 4 years. Now Manning's there. It's just switching pieces. And, you know, even older alums, they don't know these new guys.
Yeah.
You know, that matters. That definitely matters.
And I think the coaches play a part as well in getting some of these older guys to come back. The coaches have to welcome these older guys to come back and to be around the facility.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they try. Wake tries. Like, because last year, CP had a golf tournament, and Justin Gray was he was thirsting to a new role at Wake, like the assistant to the basketball coach, whatever special role they made for him. Justin made it a point to get players back there, and we all came for the golf tournament, and it was a good day. But I think we need to do more of that.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it's a disconnect between the players now and the alum, and we need something to bridge us together, because we have so much tradition at Wake.
Exactly.
And I think we have to tap into it, because right now we're like the lost brother.
It's like, you know,
the middle child kind of sort of. We just forgotten about
the forgotten ACC school.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What about talk about when you left Wake in terms of playing pro basketball? Did you have any NBA interest? You know, how was that? You know, once your college career was winding down, what were your options?
I came out of school, signed with an agent. I had a lot of NBA workouts. I worked out with like the Bulls, the Spurs, the Grizzlies, the Mavericks. And it's funny because 2014 compared to 2019 are two different worlds as far as
basketball world.
Basketball world and the media world. When I was coming out of high school, I was a 3-4 type guy. I would play both positions. And at that time, the league was, what can you do? What is your specialty? And I was a jack of all trades kind of sort of, and I was a tweener. That's what they would call me.
Right.
It's like I'm too big to play the 3, too small to play the 4. Where is he going to fit in? Who is he going to defend? But if you compare it to now, everything is small ball.
Right.
It's a positionless league now. So that would have been my biggest case instead of my
perfect for you.
Strongest case. So yeah, I mean, coming out the draft, I had a workout with the Spurs that Monday before the draft, and I was living in Chicago because that was where my pre-draft workouts were at, and my agent was like, "Go home." He was like, "Go home for the draft. You might get some good news." Because everything was looking positive. I mean, I wasn't getting drafted in the first round because of just, our record and everything. But I thought for sure the second round I was going to get a chance. And I was at home watching the draft, and my agent calling me like, "Oh, the Spurs about to take you. Dallas loves you." And I think the day before the draft, Dallas had like 2 second-round picks, and they traded them to New York for Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton. So that situation was gone. And then I think it was like the late 50s, like 50 and 52. My agent calls me. He's like, "The Spurs just called, stay by your phone." And then they traded their picks away for like some, the rights for overseas dude. So that was crazy. And then I didn't get in the summer league, which I didn't get. I didn't understand that at all.
You didn't get not one invite.
Not one invite to summer league. I don't know if that was, me or my agent, but it was just I didn't play in summer league that year.
Okay.
And it didn't make sense to me. Like, how do I do all these workouts, almost get drafted, and not even get on the summer league team?
Yeah. Okay. So you end up playing in the G League first, or did you go overseas first?
I went to Belgium first.
Okay.
My agent was like, they're throwing a lot of money your way. And me, I didn't, because the whole time I'm not thinking I'm going overseas. I'm thinking if I don't go to the the league, I'm going to the G League or D League at the time. And he was like, "Man, they're throwing a lot of money," because I turned this team down like 2-3 times. Like,
in Belgium.
And they just kept throwing more money. And me not having the knowledge, I'm thinking like, why would I go there? It doesn't make sense. And then I'm thinking like, well, I have to, trust my agent. This is a partnership and kind of sort of. So I went there, and it was a bad team. We started off 0-7. You talking about a 21-year-old kid overseas by himself. Like, it was tough for me. Like, I didn't I've never been out of the country before. I mean, I've been, like to the islands and stuff, but like overseas, like leaving America, that was tough, especially back then, because the technology. I mean, we had iPhones and stuff, but it wasn't as efficient as it is now. So it was just a process for me to try to convert it. But yeah, I was in Belgium. We started off 0-7, and I was the last guy to come in. So of course I was the first one to go out. Me and another rookie that they had brought in. We started off 0-7, and we started off 1-9. So of course they made changes, and I was gone. Then I went from the G League from there.
Oh, okay. So, if you will, for anyone, especially up and coming kids that are gonna listen to this podcast, can you talk about playing pro basketball in Europe in terms of the lifestyle, the myths, the misconceptions, basically the reality of playing basketball in Europe if you're not playing high level basketball in Europe? Can you talk about what it takes, the living condition, the food?
Yeah.
I mean, just the entire lifestyle.
You just have to know your situation. Like, a lot of situations are good, a lot of situations are bad. I always tell people, like, overseas, it's either you're in a really good spot or a really bad spot.
Right.
The living situation, they just give you, the bare minimum of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a great place. I've been in bad places. The food is tough because you're thrusted into a new culture that you don't really know anything about, because people don't understand when you sign these overseas contracts, you're gone in, 2 to 3 days. Like, you can sign it on Monday and be gone Thursday.
Right.
You don't know anything. You're going over there blind. They don't show you anything privy to you going. You don't know where you're staying. You don't know how you getting around. You don't know anybody over there. So it's a tough adjustment. I would just tell people, just you have to love it. You have to love basketball to go over there, because it's tough.
Right.
I've been over there years and haven't seen my family. Nobody's come to visit me. You have to learn how to be alone. Mm-hmm. And when you're over there, you have to really be on your best behavior, because their expectation of you is high. They want you to come over there and be like LeBron, or
because you're an American.
Yeah, exactly. Your role is, you're not like everybody on the team.
Yeah.
You're held to a higher standard. So they look at you to carry the team. And if you feel like they're not meeting your expectation, then they're gonna get rid of you and make changes. I would just tell people, you have to be professional. You have to watch what you eat. You have to work out. You have to, because they're looking for a reason to get rid of you. Mm-hmm. Most teams, they're like, if you can start off 5-0 and y'all lose 2 in a row, because the GMs and the stuff over there, they're regular people. They're not, they have this job, but they have a regular job too. So they're not basketball savants. It's not like America. So if things get a little rocky, they're gonna try to switch players out. That's what they do.
Right.
So I would just tell people just to be aware, man, and don't think any situation is comfortable, because it's not. It can change.
And I think the biggest thing for kids coming out of college now and playing professional basketball in Europe, I think they get the money part twisted. Like, they're gonna leave school and make like 10-15 grand a month. Yeah. Just because you're going overseas playing basketball, and it doesn't work like that. It definitely depends on who you are, and what you did in college. But for the average college player, you're not gonna get close to 10 grand a month coming out of college.
Our profession is so weird, because you have people overseas that's making millions per year,
right?
And then you have people overseas that's making a grand a month,
right?
So there's no website that shows you what they make and what they. So it's difficult. But I like to tell people, man, when you go overseas, you have to be mentally tough. You have to be ready for it, because it's more than basketball. They're evaluating you. When you're out to eat. They're evaluating what you put on social media. They're evaluating everything. So it's a full-time job, and you really have to be prepared for it. Like, but the money thing, they're gonna lowball you at first.
Yeah,
of course. They're gonna lowball you at first. So you have to get in the situation, and you have to produce. Like, all of that stuff matters. Like, having a good agent matters. Being on a good team matters. Your stats matter. See, that's what I didn't get early on. Like, when my career started, I thought my agent was supposed to get the film. I thought my agent was supposed to do everything for me. and I was wrong. I should have got the film when I had it.
Right.
You know, I should have, you know, controlled all that and then give it to him already prepackaged. Like little stuff like that matters. So I think, yeah, the money's gonna come. You just gotta put in the work.
Right. Now, if you were advising kids today on how to improve their overall game, now take into account that the game has changed a whole lot. Now, you know, a lot of guys have trainers.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see the guys playing in the parks, playing in the gym. It's everything now is one-on-one with the trainer.
Yeah.
What would you tell a high school kid that wants to play in the ACC?
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
I mean, I think having a trainer is, you know, is good, but I think it's oversaturated now. You got kids training when they're, you know, 5, 6, 7. Their dads or their moms are putting them in there. You can't build a basketball player. If I was to have a son and he wanted to play basketball, he'll have a trainer like, you know, maybe once or twice a week to develop the skill work. Because skill work is important, but I think the biggest thing the kids don't have today is that dog. And you only get that dog by playing. I think playing, you know, playing 21, playing outside, getting bruised up on your arm, I think that creates a want to, instead of just going in the gym and doing a bunch of drills. Because you got a lot of workout kids that look great on a film. When they get in the game, you know, they're lost because it's different. The working out is important, but it's nothing like playing. You don't develop that mindset and that grind until you get knocked down, until you play against kids older than you, until you lose. Like, until you lose, you don't know how great a win is. So if I had to advise kids, I'd be like, play, just play. I mean, even if you don't want to play outside, you know, you can play indoors, play open gym, play, do this and that, just play. Do not do workouts 4 or 5 times a week thinking that's going to translate to a game, because a game is totally different than a workout. You know, the workout is specific to train you in these situations. Right. But if you don't have the wherewithal to go get it, it's not going to translate.
Right. I agree with you on that 1,000%.
I got an example for you. Cam Reddish. You know, he was a top 5 high school kid, and he looks like, you see him in a workout he looks like the perfect NBA player. But we saw him in Duke this year. It seemed like he just wasn't interested. I know, you know, we had Zion and RJ, but to me, it just seemed like he didn't have that dog. And I feel like he's a kid that worked out all the time, so he looks great in workouts. Like, you get him in an NBA workout, you like, oh, this guy's the next Paul George. Like, he looks like 6'8", can shoot, have all the skills. But when you see him in a game, like, he had good games, but most of the time he was just out there looking like lost. Okay. And I feel like you need to have that dog. You know who has that dog when you see it.
Exactly. Now, Coach Derek Whittenberg, NC State legend. 83 champs.
He just called me, by the way. 5 minutes ago, I couldn't answer.
He's your godfather, correct?
Yes.
Talk about Coach Whit and the influence that he's had on you, basketball-wise and as a person.
He's my basketball, you know, godfather. I mean, I go to him for everything. Growing up with him, I didn't realize who he was until I got a little bit older. Like, he's my godfather, but I didn't recognize the importance of who he was. You know, like, he used to take me on little, when they have little conferences and stuff. Like, I went to his basketball camp every summer. Like, he'll drive to Richmond, because he was coaching at Wagner in Florida when I was a kid growing up.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
And that's in New York. So he would drive down to Richmond, come pick me up, and we'll drive back to New York. And we used to stop at, like, the Nike outlet in Maryland every time. He'll give me stuff, and I'll be at the camps. Everything basketball related, he knows. Like, if I have to make a decision, I go through him first, because, you know, that's who he is.
Oh yeah,
you know?
He's the OG.
Yeah, exactly, the OG. That's what he calls himself, the OG. And you know, his 30 for 30 came out when I was in college, and you know, him and my godmother, they were in Winston when it premiered on ESPN, and they were in my apartment, and they had me live tweeting for them while the documentary was going on. And I, you know, it's different than no one is seeing it. So I'm watching the doc. I'm like, oh, you was really good. Like, I thought you know, he throws, you know, the shot or the pass. It was really a pass, but no, he's never going to admit it. It was a shot.
It looked like a shot.
It was a shot. He doesn't pass it off. It was a shot, and then it went in. And I'm looking, I'm just looking at the whole course of the tournament. I'm like, oh, you was really getting buckets. He was like, I tried to tell you. I was like, man. He still tries to have shootouts with me now. I'm like, listen, man, I don't want to take your money. I love you too much. It's gonna be robbery at this point. Like, if I get the ball in my hands, it's going in. But yeah, I mean, just growing up with him, and he's been my guy since day one. So. Yeah, that's Whit, man. Okay. He always take care of me,
Yep. Coach Whit, man.
Yeah.
Couple more questions, man. The toughest player that you played against in high school, college, and the pro?
College by far was Amon Shepard.
Okay.
He played at Georgia Tech. It was my freshman year. I give you two. I give you Amon Shepard and Reggie Jackson. It was my freshman year at Wake. Amon Shepard was just stronger than everybody. He did what he wanted. Like, he was a grown man, and everybody else was a kid out there. Like, Georgia Tech wasn't that good. Obviously, he was a McDonald's All-American and everything. He went to the league. But when we played him, it was just like,
he looked strong.
Yeah, he looked strong. And he had that dog.
Yeah.
He had, in college, he had that dog. It was like, I'm getting this bucket whether you like it or not. Either you can foul me or get out the way. And then Reggie Jackson, again, my freshman year, we played Boston College for the first time. I think it was at the end of the schedule. It was like right before the ACC tournament. So we played Boston College. We only played them once that year. It was like the last game of the regular season. And then we ended up playing them the first round of the ACC tournament. He averaged like 35 in those two games. Like, it was just easy buckets, like fadeaways, getting to the cup, threes. I mean, he looked like a young Kobe out there.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't stop him. Because I played against, everybody in the ACC. But those two, they did what they wanted when they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It was just different with those two. So I would say, Amon Shepard and Reggie Jackson.
What about high school?
High school, let me think about that. Toughest player I played against. I would say Troy Daniels.
Okay. And
the reason I say Troy Daniels because he plays for the Phoenix Suns now. He played at VCU. He was a sniper. Like, he would shoot threes falling out of bounds. It would go in. And we played him in the semifinals, and his team beat us, and they had no reason beating us. And the only reason they had a chance is because he was just going off. Like, he will pull up, a couple feet from half court, and it's going in. You can't guard that. You can't stop somebody shooting from damn near half court. Like, it's just impossible. I played against a lot of good players, but because that year he beat us was the year we were supposed to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost by like 2 points. And the only reason they was in the game because they had Troy.
Oh, okay.
So I would say him.
What's next for Travis Mckie?
Still playing. Still getting back over there, playing. Keeping my career going as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
This year was tough for me because I didn't play for nothing that had to do with basketball. It was like documents, paperwork, visas, stuff like that. Just getting back on that court, man, and doing what I love to do. Just keeping this career going. That's what's next for me. Going into the summer, playing in a lot of summer leagues, and trying to get back over there.
All right, man. Well, I definitely wish you much success.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming through.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Definitely love to have you back again.
We can do it. We gotta get a Raider jersey in here. Too much burgundy.
Bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Too much burgundy. Some black and silver.
Just get AB to sign it.
Oh yeah, I'll be out there when they play in Vegas next year. The first game, I don't care. I'm going. There's no way nobody's stopping me from going.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be tight.
Yes,
it's gonna be tight. Ladies and gentlemen, Travis Mckie.